I was stuck in a hotel during a typhoon one afternoon in Okinawa, Japan, when I stumbled upon a profound connection to introverted intuition. As I immersed myself in the study of hypnosis, what unfolded was nothing short of a revelation. It was like a secret gateway into a hidden dimension, a dimension that existed within me. But until that amazingly horrible afternoon in Okinawa, I was largely unaware of this unexplored area of my life. Hypnosis presented me with a key that unlocked a profound understanding of myself and this incredible thing that we call the unconscious mind. Let's set that story aside for a moment, and in this video, you're going to learn what exactly is introverted intuition and how does this differentiate INFJs and INTJs from other personality types. You'll also learn how do INFJs and INTJs utilize introverted intuition to see beyond the surface. And also, what practical wisdom and actions can INFJs and INTJs take to harness the power of their introverted intuition, and what you can do if you are not one of those types as well. Hey, I'm Matt Sherman. Welcome back to Geek Psychology. As an INFP myself, I naturally use extroverted intuition, and it is a completely different world. So let's first unpack intuition so that you can better understand what introverted intuition is and how to differentiate that from extroverted intuition, which will give you a deeper understanding of how these two work. So what exactly is introverted intuition and how does it differentiate INFJs and INTJs from other personality types? First, intuition is a perceiving function. Perceiving functions are the processes that we use to take in information, to gather information and learn about the world. And it is intuition as opposed to sensing. Sensing is what you can verify with your senses, and intuition is reading between those lines, connecting the dots and saying, well, what is this area between here? Like this thing and this thing in the sensory world, what is that connection between those? Or for extroverted intuition, it's a more expansive, excitable connection between those. So that's intuition. And now there are these two orientations of it. There's extroverted intuition, what I call offensive use of ideas, and there's defensive use of idea space. And so in the offensive realm, extroverted intuition, this is like the explorer, very excitable, innovating character that wants to just connect all the things and explore what happens from each of those emerging connections. Introverted intuition is that defensive style. So it's more about taking a step back and saying, well, where is all this going? And this is a lot of unconscious information processing, which is why I told the story about my connection to hypnosis. It was a deeper revelation of how to use idea space. Instead of what I normally and naturally do is I take a thing and I take another thing and I jam them together and see what explosive idea comes from there. It's more about refining and saying, like, where is all this going? What is the focal point? And in order to do that, it uses your unconscious mind. The unconscious mind takes in billions and billions of bits of information all the time. And the conscious mind can only process 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. Like I could say, pay attention to your feet right now. And your attention, your focus will go to your feet. But that was always there. Your feet were always there, right? But you just weren't conscious of it. And I could say, pay attention to your breathing and notice the temperature as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. So that was always there, but your conscious focus is very limited, while your unconscious mind is always paying attention to all of those things and regulating all of your internal systems and just tons and tons of things. And so introverted intuition gives you more access to that because it's taking the sensory realm and it's sifting through those to find the meaning, the deeper connection between these things. And it is a holistic, abstract, perspective gathering machine. It's taking all of what is going on and often reframing it or saying, where is this going? Or why did it come about in this way? And because of that, it also appreciates hidden meanings and hidden connections. If you know any INJs, or if you are an INJ, you will understand that it feels good. It feels rejuvenating to find a connection between all these things that are going on. It's something that my wife often brings up. She's an ENFJ, and she'll just be able to pinpoint like how somebody is responding to her in a way that was completely outside of my radar. And she'll just know like, well, this person must be kind of going through this thing right now, or they're having this response because of this. And that's just from picking up little subtle sensory cues and then funneling them through this unconscious filter. And this gives a lot of INJs this unique predictive ability. And I don't mean to make it sound too woo-woo, but it is an uncanny ability sometimes, where you just know, again, why this person did this thing, or where technology is going, where the future is going. And sometimes, most of the time, maybe you can't explain it, but your unconscious mind has filtered through and pulled out, like crystallized an insight. And then it shares it with you. And you're like, it all makes sense now. And so this is exclusive as a dominant function to INFJs and INTJs. And that doesn't mean that other types don't use it. We all use all of these functions, but we have preferences and we have developed a skill set around certain cognitive functions. And NJs are the ones that rely heavily on introverted intuition. So how do INFJs and INTJs utilize introverted intuition to see beyond the surface? So to go a little bit deeper, remember this is going beyond a superficial grasp. I don't mean superficial in some condescending way of sensing, but it's not what's happening in the sensory world. It's reading between those lines and connecting things in a way that gives it meaning and gives a deeper understanding of why things are the way they are. And this is a multi-layered, multi-faceted situation analysis through pattern recognition. And it connects this unrelated data or seemingly unrelated data in a way that just, it all pinpoints it, It's giving a vision. And I call this character class, introverted intuition, I call it the visioning mystic for a reason. It has a vision of where things are going. And it has this prophetic type tinge to it, a little bit of flavor to it. And it's also non-linear thinking. So it's not focusing on the timeline necessarily, but it's focusing on a broader picture of it. So it's not pulling from the past and saying, this was the first step, this was the next step sequentially, and these are the steps to get there. It's like this. I see that this is coming about. And maybe I don't know clearly all the actual sensory data points that are going to amount to that, but this is where it's going. And so this forward-looking visionary perspective is something that INJs bring, and it helps them see on longer timelines into the future where things are going, as well as bringing out perspectives that most other people aren't even aware of. And so what practical wisdom and actions can INFJs and INTJs take to harness the power of introverted intuition? So one of the things that comes up very often with coaching for any personality type is that our dominant function is so important, but sometimes we don't create a life that allows us to live into that. So for a lot of INFPs that I coach, like myself, we don't give enough time to our values, to self-expression, self-understanding, because we're busy with life and work and all this other stuff. For you, as an INJ, it's likely you don't take enough time to allow your unconscious mind to sift through and find these insights. Like if you are, maybe you go for a walk or something like that, but if you're always like on your phone or distracting yourself with music or YouTube or whatever it is, you don't allow your unconscious mind to process because it's always being overly stimulated. So make sure that you create time to lean into your introverted intuition because it is a superpower. It's a gift. So you can do that by nurturing creativity. And an ENTJ friend of mine said that he does art and story writing because he wants to give back to the well of creativity. He feels that he has taken so much from it and he needs to give back to it. I thought that was a beautiful way of expressing the necessity for delving into idea space and stories and maybe creativity and stuff that is not just present around you, not always vying for your attention. And that's hard to do, I understand, but it is extremely important. You can also do meditation and hypnosis. As I said, that was one of the things that really unlocked a perspective of introverted intuition that I didn't have because I was so focused on extroverted intuition. I had been doing meditation, but once I really started to study the unconscious mind, it brought so many different connections to introverted intuition. And with that, sensory deprivation is something that is really important for introverted intuition. Because with all the sensory stuff going on, you either get overwhelmed and then maybe an insight will come out. But what is better is that you put yourself in a dark room, close your eyes, maybe have just slight music or no music, and just let your mind do what it needs to do. And self-hypnosis and hypnosis is a way of speed hacking that. Also, reflect thoughtfully. Make sure that you acknowledge your insights. Write them down in a journal. Appreciate that your unconscious mind is bringing these insights to you. And if you acknowledge and accept it and write it down and cherish those enough, then your unconscious mind is going to do it more. Your reticular activating system is going to be like, hey, this is something that you like. Okay, let's do it more. I'll bring more of these insights to you. But if an insight comes up and you just brush it off, you're like, I'm busy with this other stuff, then it's just going to teach your brain that that's not important to you. So spend time reflecting thoughtfully over those insights. Check insights in real-world situations. So make sure that you are calibrating it. So what happens for a lot of people who have introverted intuition lower on their stack means that they get these insights and they feel so real, but with a little bit of feedback from the outer world, like, oh, sorry, I was way off. I completely miscalibrated that. That can happen with any of us with our dominant function too. Likely we are stronger in it and we have more calibration, but it is something that could happen. And the more that you check your insights in real world situations and get feedback on them, if it's bringing it up to somebody else, if it's writing it down in a journal and then checking 30 days later to see what actually happened, this is helping you calibrate and helping you do it better. And then you get to have more confidence in your insights and bring those out into the world in a way that benefits everybody. And we need that. So exercise introverted intuition frequently. Spend time rejuvenating, spend time with meditation or hypnosis. Calibrate it in real world situations and really build more confidence around it so that you can happily be who you are and bring your character classes skills to the real world. And if you want some more help to understand introverted intuition on a deeper level, I have a video over here that will really break down a lot of the different aspects, and it talks about different superheroes and pop culture characters as well to get a broader, wider sense understanding of introverted intuition. Good luck, have fun. Peace.